Hi everybody, my name's Chelsea. Welcome to my channel. I am going to be ranking Stormlight Archive characters today, and I'm super excited. I have always wanted to do this. Stormlight Archive, I think, is terribly underrated, even in the fantasy community where it's pretty big. It just doesn't have the name recognition that a lot of other series in fantasy have, and I want to contribute to changing that. Today I'm going to rank Stormlight Archive characters. This should be interesting. Spoilers for everything through Rhythm of War in the Stormlight Archive. Possibly even Thydakar spoilers, which turn into Cosmere spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, avoid this. The first person on our list here to rank is Moash. And appropriately enough, whoever devised this tier ranking has a special category all the way at the bottom for our dear Moash. Why? Because fuck Moash. That's why. The guy's a dick. I'm sorry. He's a total jerk. Screw Moash. He's horrible. Just saying, he totally is. All right, next we have Tien. I think Tien definitely deserves A tier. He is a ray of sunshine. He is Kaladin's little brother. He is the hope that Caledon, I think, will find a way out of his depression. He's the helpful one. He's the kind soul of the family. And when you're in a family with Lyrin, that's kind of important. I dig Lyrin, but I'm just saying, can't always be easy to be a doctor's son, right? Tien is special. He's sweet and not like everyone else. And I think that that's special. If you've ever known someone like Tien who was out of place in a hostile world, because he's just a good soul, an idealist, a sweet, young, naive kid, and doesn't shake it no matter what happens. I think you'll agree. Tien definitely A tier. Let's see, who do we have next here? Sometimes it's hard to read these. Let me see. I'll do the ones I can read first. How's that? Shallan. Oh, Shallan Devar. Shallan has to go S tier, right? Don't panic. She's going to fall a little further back as we go. She's not my favorite character. But she's one of. It's hard to love the Stormlight Archive and not love Shallan. It's hard. I think the first time I read this story, I was a little more hesitant about Shallan. She doesn't always come off very genuine. But the further you go into the books, you start to realize, oh, that's just... Shallan's not terribly genuine, not even with herself. So that makes a little more sense, given the events of, well, all of it, frankly, especially Words of Radiance and further in. Anyway, definitely love Shallan. If you don't love Shallan, you still have to love Veil and Radiant. That's the rule. You can't hate all three, right? Okay, so we're leaving Shallan up there. No doubt she's gonna survive, right? This is not a predictions video, but I'm just gonna predict anyway. Shallan makes it, right? Everybody else could die. All the characters everybody loves could just totally disintegrate. Odium could slaughter everybody. Shallan's gonna make it. Okay, I'm sorry, but she is. So if you hate her, you're not in luck. I think she's definitely gonna make it. Amaram, oh my god, practically Moash tier. God, I hate this guy. Is there anybody who likes Amaram? God, he's such a jerk. Disgusting. Thank God Yasna has the sense to put him down like he deserves, like the dog he is. God. I mean, to put on such a show for everybody. I guess that's what gets me. Sadius, at least, it was exactly... you get what you pay for with Sadius. He is exactly what you expect him to be. There's no nobility there. Even when Dalinar was like, oh, you know, we used to be friends and comrades in arms. Oh, bull. Sadius is a toad. He's a toad from page 1. Everybody knows it. He's a snake. This guy's going to turn out to be the bad guy. Amaram seems to be gifted with the ability to fool people. And I hate that. I just hate that he, you know, put on a show and all the little folk in Hearthstone and the surrounding areas think Amaram's one of the wonderful light eyes, one of the true noble light eyes. I mean, if Caledon can fall for that as a youth, you can imagine how many people fall for it all the time. Sickening, just sickening. Pretending to be a radiant. Ugh, nasty. All right, let's see. Who do we got here? Kaladin, Stormblessed. We're just going to get him out of the way. Cal goes straight to the top for me. Kaladin is one of the most inspirational characters ever. He's just a real person struggling with a giant pile of crap constantly. Weights so heavy he can't carry them. To be honest, it's shocking that he's alive after the events of book 1. It's shocking on many different levels that he's able to even make a comeback the way he has. And Caledon is just very near and dear to my heart. I think the thing that I love most about Caledon, if I had to pick one thing, it's that he doesn't consider himself a victim. He doesn't look at the world through a victim prism, as though like the world owes him something. And, you know, anytime he's carrying some terrible weight, he feels depressed. He feels like he wishes it wasn't him, but he doesn't view every event in his life through the prism of, I'm a victim of circumstances and therefore I deserve something. I deserve not to have to obey the rules. I deserve to be able to break this promise. I deserve to be able to do. That's just not in his nature. And I find that to be one of the more noble things I've ever read, because we all have a tendency to, when stuff hits the fan, to blame someone, to try to say, you know, it's the system, it's whatever. And he blames the light eyes for a long time. That's true. He does fall into that. But it's not in the way Moash does, where Moash is incapable of admitting he's wrong ever. Caledon does eventually allow the world to prove him wrong when it needs to. And I think that, again, it's very special in a character. I love Caledon. He's wonderful. I wish everybody could meet Caledon. You know, one day I think he's going to be the new Luke Skywalker. He's just phenomenal. Such a great personality. Sad, you know, in the Jon Snow vein, but mopey bastard. But intelligent and capable and just deeply sad. And that's not entirely his fault. All right, let's see. What else do we got going on here? I keep trying to read this and I'm having a hard time reading it. I think I know who that is, but I'm not 100%. Let's go Zahil. Zahil is, I won't spoil it for you, but Zahil is something else, right? We're gonna put Zahil B tier. Not A, sorry. B tier. High B tier. Zahil is the instructor in Sword for Caledon, for Adalyn, for Renarin, etc. Probably the only person who would agree to train Renarin, let's be totally honest, in the ways of shard blades and shard plate. I think Zahil is grumpy and fantastic, just like every mentor should be, you know, just training montage man extraordinaire. With a twist, he's not what he appears to be. He's a mystery. Zahil is a bit of a mystery. He says things that don't make sense. He makes references, that nobody else makes. So leave that for your brain to think on. Let's see, what do we got here? Lopen. Oh, straight to the S tier. Jumping Shallan even. I love me some Lopen. Lopen is Kaladin, one of Bridge 4, the original, one of the original. Well, I guess technically not original. Not original as Teft, but Kaladin picks Lopen out of a lineup when he really, God bless him, he shouldn't have, but he did. Lopen talks, he has a big mouth, he's funny, very funny, self-deprecating, interesting, buoyant, happy, despite everything. And it's wonderful because everyone in Bridge 4 is depressed. Everyone's either chronically depressed or addicted to something, or feeling guilty about something, or carrying a weight they shouldn't, or pretending to be somebody they're not, or all of this, all this stuff that they're just weighed down by, in addition to being a fucking bridgeman. But Lopen's not weighed down by any of it. He just seems to rise above with this inner light that nobody can explain. He can't explain it either. Maybe it's because he has so many cousins, right? I would love to be one of Lopen's cousins, by the way. That would, aspirations right there. All right, I'm going to go in zooming here to see if I can figure out who this is supposed to be. This is Ashanai. Oh, Ashanai. Ooh. God, there's going to be too many A-level characters. Ashanai. Yeah, I'm putting her even above TN. Ashanai was one of the biggest surprises I've ever encountered in any book. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I tried not to like Ashanai or Venli or any of the Parshendi. I totally I didn't want to like them. I didn't. It's hard for me to explain why. I guess because I wanted to pick a side. I wanted to go into these books and be like, oh, there's a very clear good and a very clear evil, and I'm totally cool with just picking a side, and I don't really want Ashanai's background. And then I got it, and I went, oh, I love Ashanai. She's great. Talk about another supposed antagonist who turns out to be really great, who could have been even better. God, I wish she'd survived. I truly do. I would have paid big money to see a conversation between her and Venli, as now that Venli's come around, her and Caledon, her and Dalinar. Like, oh, it breaks my heart that she, who loved to explore, ends up the way she does. Oh, just heartbreaking. Although she does get a really good scene at the end of Rhythm of War. That's a wonderful epilogue, but it was still hard to read. Addressing Rhythm of War for a second, Ashanai and Venli were not everyone's favorite flashback characters. I can tell you that. Definitely not the favorites within the fandom. I guess it felt redundant at this point to cover so much of the listeners' story when we kind of already know what happened to them. We already know who they really are, so why did we need all this flashback material? That's a common question. I don't actually know the answer to that. I think I don't know. I liked it and I didn't. I didn't want to enjoy the flashbacks. I never wanted to like the flashbacks, but I do. And Ashanai is so good. I like her better than Venli. I'm not sure I explained that very well. But I think because she's just so much more relatable than Venli. Venli who will not stop. Venli who will not take a hint. Will not, quit when she's ahead. Ashanai very much goes, yeah, she participates in the one-upmanship, but not the way Vinley does. All right, who do we have next here going in? Leshwi. Lady Leshwi. I think we should make Lady Leshwi. No, I'm not putting her in D tier, don't worry. Leshwi is gonna go B tier for me. I enjoy Leshwi. I would like more out of Leshwi. She is a solid character. I appreciate that she has saved Kaladin's bacon a couple of times. I appreciate that they have a relationship of honor, of warriors who meet in battle but actually don't hate one another. I find that fascinating. The psychology there is really good. Just meaty and interesting. Not to mention that she's female and he's male, and we don't often get a male warrior versus a female warrior in a respectful sort of not brothers in arms, not sisters in arms. What am I trying to say? An honored enemy kind of scenario. I haven't come across it very often, and it works. It works very well. I hope that Leshwi is able to convince the rest of the Parshendi slowly but surely, maybe with Vinley's help, that they could live alongside humans. Odium is not all that. He's just not. He's as treacherous as any of the other gods have ever been. Maybe more so. Rock! Oh, Rock is next. Rock is the bomb. Diggity, come on. Come on, Rock. Way above Shallan. Possibly even above Lopen, but I'll give Lopen the edge for right now. Only because Rock won't fight. Rock won't pick up a weapon. Except that one time. Obviously. Oh, look at the stew, though. That almost gives him super S tier. Rock is amazing for reasons I don't need to describe, right? Rock is the soul of Bridge 4. He's the reason Caledon, him and Teft are the reason that Caledon is able to function in book 1. Thank goodness for them. They were the first to come around. All right. Elokar. King Elokar. Elokar was such a brat for so long that he earns C tier. He does rise above D because he learned, right? He did learn. And at the end, he was getting ready to make the oath. I did not see that coming, by the way. I did not think Elokar had a single real noble bone in his body. But it turns out when your kid is on the line, it's a different story. I think that's very telling and smart of Sanderson too, that not everyone has the same breaking point. Not everyone gets it right away. Some people have to be not just pushed down like Caledon was. Some people have to be absolutely backed into a corner with like the hand, not to their throat, because they don't care really over much about themselves, but to someone they love. And Elokar just does the job, and it's a shame. It's a shame that he died. I'm sorry, truly. Maybe I should bump him up. B tier? Nah, I'm gonna leave him C for right now. Who do we have next? Rabonio. Rabonio is special for a whole other reason. Rabonio is one of those people who I'm not sure how to put this, but she is the most fun antagonist, right? She's constantly a thorn in Navani's side, but whenever her and Navani are in the same room together, reading it, I hold my breath because I have no idea who has the upper hand here. Rabonio just flat out outsmarts Navani most of the time in Rhythm of War. Again, another character. I didn't want to like her, but I absolutely do. And in the end, her death really went, well, less her death than when she kills her daughter. That was very sad, deeply moving, and a twist on, zombie movies or vampire stories or all of that immortal release us from our living death stuff. It was a good twist. I enjoyed it. And I will put Rabonio B tier below Zahil for sure. All right. Bridge 4, absolute S tier. This is tricky because Rock and Lupin are in Bridge 4. I hope Teft is in here by himself somewhere. We may have to reevaluate this, but let's put Bridge 4 in front of Shallan. We're going to find that a lot of people go in front of Shallan in S tier. Gavilar. What do we even do about Gavilar, right? He's such a tool. Every book he gets worse. I'm like, please. Good thing he's dead, because the back half would be really can you imagine the feast in iterations all the way through the back half of the series? Those of you who are reading Stormlight Archive, you probably already know this, but there's the first 5 books are going to be their own kind of thing, and then the next 5 there'll be like a time gap, and then there'll be 5 more books. So when I say the back half, that's what I mean, the back half of the series. Oh, I was going to say R.I.P. Gavilar, but no, not even that. I don't even want you to rest peacefully. Just go away. Just go away, Gavilar. Again, almost as bad as Moash. Oh, this is going to be a fight between Gavilar and Amaram for who is a decent human being. Boy, that's tough. I have to say, I like Gavilar better as a plot device. I don't know if that counts for anything. That might actually bump him up to Elokar status. Just the plot device that Gavilar represents. An honored king, fallen, who turns out to have been a total ass. That's a great device. I never get tired of it. And no spoilers. I won't spoil the Stormlight Archive 5 prologue that Brandon released. I will not spoil it, but I will tell you it's very satisfying. For the same reasons that the prologues are always satisfying. They're the same feast over and over again. Gavilar's feast. More of the same. Odium is next. Oh, Odium is awful. Now, is this Ray's Odium? It doesn't say Todium, so I'm not convinced that this is Taravangian. Odium's the worst. Odium's just the worst. I'm not even really sure how passion got corrupted that much, because supposedly Odium wasn't just hatred. Odium was all passions. And, I guess hate just took over. I don't think I need to explain why Odium sucks, but just what he's done to Wit alone puts me into a rage, let alone the Cosmere implications of the crap that he's pulling. All right. Hasina. Okay, Hasina's next. Hasina is straight up top of the B tier. Oh, do I put her ahead of Zahil, though? Yes. If you put up with Lyrin, you deserve to be at the top of the B tier. Caledon's mother, Caledon's sweet, kind mother. What would we do without Hasina to rein Lyrin in, to to talk to the boys in the flashbacks. You know, I love those scenes. I love when she gets out in the rain and they're all up on top of the roof and Kaladin's feeling sorry for himself and being depressed. And Tien's trying to cheer him up. And Hesina gets out there with him and Lyrin comes out there. He's like, what in the hell is everyone doing on the roof in the rain? Hello? What's wrong with you people? I thought it was really funny. And she's so odd and progressive for their culture. I find that very sweet. And a lot of people are like, why is she with Lyrin? Lyrin's such a jerk. Well, yes, but he needs her. And she probably needs him to stay grounded, right? I love that relationship. All right, who do we got next? Is this Ela? Ela. She's so boring. She belongs further down. She's not even interesting enough for the D tier. That's the sad thing. Like what I'm doing on here may not be ranking them on strength of character, but on like how irritating they are to me. You know what? Yeah, Ela falls. Sorry. Ela is even more boring than Amaram. At least Amaram keeps things interesting. We love to hate him. You know what? That puts Odium at the top. I'm totally revamping this whole thing as we go. Because I keep thinking to myself, no, certain people deserve to be higher up. Odium is far more interesting than Elokar. This isn't about morality. This is about how interesting they are. All right. Silfrena, straight to the top. Unpopular opinion. I think I would put the majority of Bridge 4 above Sil, but maybe not Rockin and Lopen. Ooh, that's tough. I love Sil as a character, but she does come across sometimes she is a very genuine person, a genuine spren. But she's almost too good. And of course she's honor spren, and you know, what do you expect from honor spren? But honestly, out of all the honor sprens, Sil is the only one who seems to be really, truly good. And good, while absolutely essential, can be less interesting than characters with more gray or characters who've been through more. It was nice to see Sil sharing a little of Kaladin's feelings, maybe having some grief over her former Radiant. But again, those are bad and sad feelings, but they're not. I mean, look, Sil is not going to turn evil, right? There's nothing to corrupt. She's pure. And I have trouble sometimes. She's just perfect. She's just wonderful and perfect. And don't you dare even mention Silladin to me. Silladin is a non-starter. Absolutely not. We are not going to have spren and human relationships like that. Ew, gross. No. All right, Lift. Lift is going to B tier. High B tier. Behind Zahil. She is a very one-note character most of the time. Her most interesting stuff to me is like her dialogue with Wendell, her long-suffering spren is hilarious. That stuff is great. Her and the first prime of Azir, I think I'm getting that right. Not the first prime, that would be redundant, but the prime, that's good stuff too. Let's see who's next. Mraize. Mraize is C tier. I'm waiting for Mraize to actually do something. That's what I'm waiting for. We're in a holding pattern with Mraize. Who is he? Like, okay, he serves Thydakar. Well, how? In what capacity? Why? Why would you serve Thydakar? All right. So many questions about Mraize, not enough answers. Nightblood? Oh, Nightblood is awesome. Yeah, okay. I know. I just gave Lift a position in the middle for being like a one-note character, and now I'm going to put Nightblood way above her. That makes me a hypocrite, but sometimes a hypocrite is just a person in the process of changing. Sorry, guys. Nightblood is the sword that destroys evil. Clearly, that's all it cares about, destroying evil. And I love the idea of destroying evil. Let's destroy some evil together. Nightblood, let's do it. All right, who is this? This is Navani, I would assume. Yeah, going with Navani Colin. Navani is spectacular. She is getting better with every book, but I'm still putting her behind Ashanai. That's going to be a hot take. A lot of people will not like that. I put her behind Ashanai because I'm not really into magical science as much as Brandon is. I'm just going to be honest. I love her relationship with Dalinar. I love her relationship with her daughter. I hope we get to see more of that. And the fact that she's a bondsmith now is freaking cool. I did not see that coming, but I love it. But she's just not up there. Like, Ashanai is complex. Even though we didn't get to see as much of her, she was good through and through. Well, okay. No, I can't say that. Ashanai was not good through and through. She was complicated. She had a complicated story, complicated dreams, goals. I feel like Navani's goals are quite simple. Not complicated, really. The method by which she'll achieve them will be very complicated, but the actual goals are fairly simple. I like that about her, actually. She makes sense. She makes some sense. Pattern. Oh, good. We get to do Spren, too. Oh, Pattern has to come up way past Ashanai. Did I put Pattern in S tier? No, I don't think so. Pattern is a great foil to Shallan. Pattern is, no, how do you put this? The logical, calculating thinker that Shallan, the dreamer slash liar slash creative, needs desperately. And he does in fact care about her. I think Pattern does care about Shallan. He gets her on a level that is kind of odd for someone who is literal as Pattern is, and he loves the lies about Shallan. But I feel like he really does care about Shallan the person increasingly. At first I wondered if he ever would. Now I think we have our answer after Rhythm of War that yes, he does care. He was covering for Shallan's screw-ups. He was trying to protect her from the truth. He lied, but he means well. And it's not coming from a place of malice or betrayal. It's just, it is what it is. He cares about Shallan in return. And probably learned from her that the best way to protect her is to freaking lie to her, because that's what she does. That's what I kept thinking about Shallan. I'm like, hey, you can't really blame him, right? Because every time you get hurt, you just lie to yourself to cover it up. So him lying to you, he's trying to protect you. Pretty obvious. He learned it from the master. All right, who's next? Renarin. Oh, sweet Renarin. I'm gonna put him just below Tien in the favorite little brother category, right? That's gonna be the favorite little brother area right there in the B tier. Renarin is autistic, special, not like everyone else. I always love a character who's not just like everyone else. And speaking of that, here's Rlain. Rlain has been a very interesting one. I'm going to put him after Zahil. I enjoyed Rlain more on my reread than I did the first time when I read him. His allegiances are complicated, and that's very important. I feel like Rlain's going to be super important later. I hope so. Sadius? Oh, Sadius goes straight to the Moash category. Oh, God, I hate that guy. Just awful, but not lower than Moash. Nobody can be lower than Moash, even in the Moash tier, right? The bottom end. It's probably cheating to put anybody else in the Moash tier, but I don't care. I'm doing it. I hated Sadius. Greasy jerk. I'm glad Adalyn killed him. And I know that's very like momentous for Adalyn's character. He commits a murder outside of a war. It's a whole other kind of killing. It's supposed to be disturbing. My morals are supposed to be upset by it. But I'm legit one of those people who's like, look, I read Game of Thrones, okay? I am not going to cry tears over Sadius. I'm just not. I'm not. I feel sorry for what it will do to Adalyn, Adalyn's position, the family, Caledon, the way they'll be viewed. I care about all of those things. 0 F's given, 0 about Sadius himself. I don't care. I was so happy. I was like, thank you, Adalyn. Yes. Thank you. God, I was so tired of him. And I'm glad Caladin didn't have to do it, because Caladin has to do everything. Let's be honest, he's doing all the heavy lifting here. So glad he didn't have to. All right. Stormfather. I'm cool with the Stormfather, but less of a character, I think, than some of these others. I'll squeeze him right there. No, I'll put him lower than Rabonio. Higher than Rabonio, just barely. The Stormfather keeps saying confusing things. I feel like so much is being hidden from us about what the Stormfather really thinks. We'll find out in later books, I guess. The Pursuer. Boring. Sorry. Pursuer was a boring villain. Very one note, very predictable. I'm glad Kaladin killed him. Sorry, I'm kind of sinking in my couch here. Adalyn. Golden Retriever Adalyn. Go up here. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Shallan or Adalyn? Who goes higher? So hard. Okay, I'm gonna put him right behind Shallan. Adalyn is a better person than Shallan, but Adalyn is not as deep as Shallan either. I don't think everyone needs to be deep, right? We got plenty of deep characters. Some just need to be. And I saw a thing on Pinterest that really, I mean, it shook up my whole world. I have read these books, at least twice now, listened to them once, read them once, and then listening again now. And somebody on Pinterest pointed out something that did occur to me, that Adalyn has been through a lot. Adalyn, of anybody, of all these people who should be a total train wreck, Adalyn is the one. His mother was killed, murdered by his father. Okay, the mother who was sweet and kind, who loved him and his brother very much, who wanted them to be just like Dalinar. He roasted her and an entire city. Homicidal, genocidal, maniac levels of destruction. And to lose your mother at such a young age, to have to help with Renarin, no doubt, who was already out of place, to rise above all of that and not only meet Dalinar's expectations, but exceed, with the exception of what he did to Sadius, exceed all expectations of him from every corner. I don't even think his mother, I don't think any of them really, not his mother, even Navani, I think, underestimates him a little bit, which is crazy because Navani doesn't underestimate anybody. But they all kind of treat Adalyn like second fiddle sometimes, like, yeah, it's just Adalyn, you know, whatever. He's not that bright. But he is caring. He's the person that gives a crap. And in the end, that's what resurrects. Well, I'm calling it resurrection, but with the air quotes. That's what helps Maya, isn't it? It's not being smart. It's not being intelligent. It's not about how many fabrials you made or who you lied to the best, like Shallan, you know, what kind of stealth move you pulled. It's not about your strength, not even your willpower necessarily, like Caledon. This is about just giving a damn. And what a wonderful thing to read about. I just love it. I love Adalyn. It's great. I'm tempted to put him above Shallan there, but we'll leave them there together in a tie. Szeth, Son Vallano, truthless of Shinovar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king. Way further up here. Let's see. How far do we go? Do I like him better than Rabonio? Or Ashanai, rather? We'll put him there. Szeth is so interesting as a character arc. I have no idea where Szeth is going. Like, what kind of thing do you give a Skybreaker? Where's their happy ending? You know, it just doesn't, I don't see it, right? Like, Caledon, we can still pretend might have a shot at joy. You know, someday, even if it's his last day, he's got a shot at joy. Szeth has absolutely none. Zero chance at being a happy person and living a happy, just carefree life. I'm sorry. But that's relatable, because not all of us do. Taravangian. Straight to the top with Taravangian. Ooh. I've never read a character that I instantly thought, oh, wow. Wow, what a piece of work, like Taravangian. From the minute Brandon wrote that Taravangian woke up each day and didn't know whether he would be smart or dumb, compassionate or, you know, ice cold, I ate it up. Just love Taravangian as a character. I understand him. Do I agree with him? No, of course not. But one can understand his obsession with Odium. We can understand why he tried to prevent what was coming from coming and how he thought himself smarter than everyone else. Because for so long, how long do you think Taravangian was the only person who really knew what was going on? You know, it would be like if we found out there was somebody communicating with aliens right now, but we found out, you know, 100 years from now. It's just like that kind of level of nobody would believe Taravangian's story about anything. So of course he thought he had to take it on himself to save everybody, and then couldn't, and just picked Kharbranth to save his own little corner of the world, and decided that he was the one who would make the decision. And what kills me about it is he really thinks he's a martyr. To an extent, he truly is. I believe that he truly is a martyr to the cause. Sadly, I just don't think it's the kind of martyr we're used to seeing. We're used to a martyr for a really righteous cause, not a martyr for a really gray, morally cause. And now that he has assumed or ascended, God help him, man. He's too smart for his own good. At least Reyes was dumb. We had that going for us. Not anymore. Yasna. Oh, or Jasna, as I read it all those years, then heard the audiobook pronounce it differently. Yasna is going to go right up here above pattern. I respect Yasna Kholin as a character. I think everybody who's ever read female characters reads Yasna and should go, wow, huh? Because that's the reaction I had. Huh? I didn't even know I was looking for a character like that, but I totally was. Just, she is a gem to read, right? Like, it's, if you were Shallan, you would hate Yasna. She would get on my nerves to no end. But her intelligence is, she's so sharp. She just cuts like a knife through anything, through conversation, through the world, through history. And even when she's wrong, she has a way of, she was aiming in the right direction, right? Even when she's wrong. I will be very interested to see what happens to her. I am scared that of all the characters that we have right now, Yasna lacks the really depressing and horrifying backstory. It has been hinted that she, well, not just hinted, but stated outright that she has had some mental issues when she was a child. I have a feeling that something sexual happened to her. I have a feeling she was abused sexually, but I couldn't prove that. It's just a gut feeling. It's a gut feeling of mine that she was raped or something really bad happened to her. And maybe that's just my bias or my misunderstanding of her as a certain kind of character. A lot of people thought she was ace, which she's clearly not because she's with wit. I think she uses sex as a tool. That's pretty obvious. She kind of comes out and says, hey, I use physical stuff as a tool because I don't actually really care one way or the other. But sure, that's what you need. That's what you can have. Sure, whatever. But I think that probably comes from somewhere. Just a prediction. She's so strong and capable and highly, highly intelligent. But I have a feeling that that intelligence, it may not always be wisdom. I hope it always is, but I have a bad feeling maybe it's not. Teft. Oh my gosh, Teft, right to the top. Come on, Teft. Coming up past Rock even. And Lopen. Teft was one of my favorite characters. R.I.P. Teft. The first person to believe. The first person to experiment. Not just believe, because belief is overrated. Like cold belief. Oh, sure, the Knights Radiant are going to come back. No, Teft was like, wait a minute. Something's weird about this guy. I'm going to try something and gives him some spheres. I mean, what would happen if nobody tried that? Caledon would be dead as a doornail. You know, I love that Teft is the one, somebody who couldn't even believe in himself, who, by all accounts, has every excuse to just turn away from all that and go, no, I don't want any part of it. And that's the guy that saves him, that saves the whole thing. Because I don't think you get, truthfully, I'm not sure you even get the others, any of them, as Radiants without Caledon, especially now Bridge 4, the Windrunners, you know? I was so sad when Teft died. I think that was some of Brandon's most emotional writing. I had accused Brandon of being the least emotional of the high fantasy epic great authors, his stuff just never really made me cry, even though Kaladin's story is very deep and depressing, and Shallan's is quite awful. Just his writing style doesn't make me want to weep. It rarely does. Oh, did I cry over Teft? Poor Teft. Of anyone, you had to pick Teft, really? Thanks, Brandon. Of course he did. J.K. Rowling had to pick Sirius too, right? Spoiler alert for that. All right. Nail. Oh, Nail. I don't know that. Okay. This is over here again. Leslie, yeah. Nail is just a skybreaker. What can he say? Isn't it odd? Don't you find it odd that Nail's probably one of the more sane of the heralds? I thought that was odd because you'd think he would be a total nut bar by now. And he is, but at least he's following his own logic intrinsic to the Skybreakers. And he does realize he's going too far. He realizes it. He knows, he's conscious of it at times. A lot of times. I find that really compelling and helpful too. See.
Hello.
Hey, a wild court appears.
Hello. It's listed up there. Put it on spam.
I know.
Why didn't you say something?
That's the last time you wanted to leave this apartment.
It's Spam-A-Lot.
I'm just saying. Okay, do you want to go watch Spam-A-Lot?
Ben just told me this had a forward email from his dad's son.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Top Gun's playing. Fantastic Beasts is the movie theater. There's like 15 nerdy things out there, and Spam-A-Lot is the one you picked. I love you. No, I'm sorry I didn't tell you now. But yeah, I'm gonna for a little while. You want to go see it?
possibly.
Okay.
Who's we talking to?
I'm talking to myself, but I'm recording a tier list. I'm ranking Stormlight Archive characters.
Spam-A-Lot!
He eats
So
eggs and Spam-A-Lot. All right, Lyrin. Oh, yes, finally. Cutting back to the chase here. Ignoring the interlude. Lyrin. Lyrin is amazing. Everybody is divided on Lyrin, right? Nobody, I don't think anybody thinks as highly of Lyrin as I do. Lyrin is one of my favorites. Definitely above Pattern. Lyrin is a real person. He's not an archetype. He's not an idiot. He's not he's an ox. He doesn't like change. He's a goat. He's very stubborn, unmovable, and does have the capacity to be cruel. He's cruel to Caledon more than once, but he loves Caledon. Like, let's not make a mistake. Lyrin loves his family and his sons. Lyrin doesn't know what to do with his grief because he's kind of a robot and he doesn't get to process that grief. He just gets to keep working on dead people all the time while taking no money for it and doing it for charity, right? Lyrin gets to be the punching bag for the entirety of Hearthstone, a place that he still loves and the people he still respects despite everything. I love Lyrin. I think that Lyrin's story is the story of every stubborn person who didn't want to change their mind, who had to, who said, no, this is right. I finally see what right is for you. It's not my right. It's not my decision. It's not my life. It's your life. and what you think is right and what you have decided to do, and I respect it. And it finally comes around, right? And that's not simple for him. I think people get really wrapped up in, oh, he was abusive and mean. Well, how many of us are perfect, right? How many of us are absolutely gonna see a dude who flies around with some shash brands on his head and be like, oh yeah, Caledon, he's the bomb diggity, he's gonna save everyone. If that was your kid, you'd be like, yeah, maybe he'll save some of you. He'll do the best he can. I mean, realistically, not every single person is going to just fall at Caledon's feet and worship him, particularly not the people who know him from before he was all that and a bag of chips. I think that he's just a stubborn little goat. Anyway, goat of man, but he's wonderful. Who hates Lyrin, really? If you hate Lyrin, you must have a really hard time with your parents, right? Like everyone's had a hard time with a parent at one point or another who's probably like Lyrin. But if you hate him with like a passion, it's because you never came to terms with the fact that you and your parents are different people. You're not always going to see eye to eye, right? That's just an opinion. And that's a bad generalization. I should probably go back and edit that out. Let me put it nicer and more truthful. If you don't like Lyrin, that's up to you, right? Not everybody likes the same characters, and it doesn't reflect on you and your character or any of that. It's just, I don't think we would see it the same way if you're not I guess I've had relationships like Caledon and Lyrin, so maybe that's why I understand or feel like I do. All right, Venli. Venli is slightly more interesting than Lift. No. Yeah. I'm gonna put Venli above Relaine. Venli she grew on me in Rhythm of War. I really wanted to hate her, and I tried for a long time. I succeeded, but I can't hate Venli. She truly understands. She made a mistake, and it was not a mistake, it was the mistake for her people. Who can't feel sorry for that? What a nightmare. Hoid. Oh, Hoid, straight to the top. Hoid is going above Caledon. That's right. Hoid belongs in the top of S tier. Nobody else does. Hoid does. Hoid is Cosmere's significance made manifest. He is, the dog and the dragon story alone in Rhythm of War is one of my favorite parables. It's so well done. Hoid is as wit is one of the best people on Roshar. I know he has his own motives. He's threatened people. He said, I'll watch the world burn. That's fine. If to get what I need, yeah, I would. And that's terrifying. 1 second. Sorry, I had to scratch my nose there for a second. My nose was itchy. Hoid is Paradox, right? Just can't wait to figure out what he's going to do next. Especially now that he doesn't have his memories, or maybe he does. Maybe he does. I don't know who got the best of that interaction. I hesitate to even guess. But Hoid, that story of the dog and the dragon, that was pivotal for Caledon, for his character. Absolutely pivotal. And it struck me directly in the heart, in the soul. Right? It pierced me immediately, particularly like as soon as he said, Caledon's like the dog in the rain, just struck home a little too much. when he said that dog thought I'm a total and complete failure. Of course he did. And Kaladin's just like, what? I loved it. I pictured it. It was crystal clear in my mind. Brilliant, brilliant storytelling. And that's the other thing about Hoyd that's great. He's meta. He's such a meta character about storytelling and the importance of stories and fantasy and legends. It's important. It's who we are. And that's really critical. God, I just hope that he outsmarts Taravangian / Odium. Make my day. It would make my day. All right, Wendell. Wendell's going to come up here and hang out with Lift. We don't get enough Wendell. Dalinar. Oh, yeah. Talk about another complicated character. Oh, wow, this is going to be cringy. I'm putting Dalinar ahead of Syl. And Bridgeford, yeah. Dalinar is just super complicated, right? You know, you just can't kill as many people as Dalinar has and get away with it. It's not okay. But at the same time, he is repentant. Genuinely. He will genuinely carry the pain. He expects to. Oathbringer was eye-opening as hell for me. One of the best things I have ever read when Dalinar said, "You cannot have my pain. You cannot have my pain." I just thought, so many people give it up, don't they? You know, they take that pain and they give it away. They give it to the bottle. They give it to whatever, you know what I mean? They take it out on somebody. They go beat somebody up. They go to jail. They give that pain away, and they don't take responsibility for it. They don't make peace with it. They don't accept what they've done. And when he said that, something changed in my mindset fundamentally about those who have done wrong and what it means to carry a burden like that. It really did. It made me think, and probably always will. Love Dalinar. And he's probably going to die. Oh, father figures that adopt too many sons, they die, don't they? Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And that is it. That's it. Everybody's pretty much B tier or higher, except Odium, Elokar, Gavilar, Mraize, Amarim, Ela, the Pursuer, Sadius, and Moash. No, I'm pretty happy with this, actually. I love the characters in the Stormlight Archive. They're some of the most memorable characters I've ever read. This is a bit of an aside, so feel free to tune out here if you're kind of tired of hearing my voice. How could you be tired of that? But I started reading Wheel of Time fairly recently. I got 4 books in, and I care about the characters. I think they're interesting, but not like this. Not like every time Sanderson introduces a character, I think to myself, you know, I've got enough. I'm overloaded. I've cared about enough people. Thank you. I don't need a Game of Thrones style 200 character name list of people to care about. I'm done caring. And he refuses to let you quit. Sanderson will not let you stop caring about these people. He will not introduce anybody, not even a side character in a stupid flashback scene or interlude, that you can't help but say, who is that? Or, ooh, I wonder what that's about. Or, wow, that guy's a jackass. Or, wow, I wish there was more about her. He's too good at it. I'm just saying. All right, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed my tier ranking. I hope there'll be another one sometime. This killed a lot of time for me in a good way. I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. talk to you later. That thus ends this recording, right? Catch you next time. Please like. Yeah, don't forget that part. Please like.